Welcome back on Kansas Sports Chatters. Time now for our quality time interview. And our guest today, get to spend a little extra time with Bill Biermann. He is the head coach of the Goodland High School girls basketball team. Hey, Coach, thanks for coming on. For you, that pre-Christmas schedule to the start of the season, like what is that feeling? Not only getting the season started, but knowing you just have that short spurt of games before the Christmas break.
Yeah, it's exciting. I tell you, it always comes really fast. Seems like it comes quicker and quicker every year, but we always really try to, not to cliche, but take it game by game. I mean, we're really focused on early in the season, the first 2, 3 weeks of practice, just getting ready for the first game, and then our whole focus goes to our topside tournament. We always have goals around our topside tournament that we host here is kind of then the next part of the season, the chunk of the season that we want to focus on. This year, that gets a little crazier as we picked up 3 more games this year, and so we made the decision to jump into a tournament in Rock Creek. At the time we were doing that, they told us these such and such teams were coming, and we said, "Yay, let's go!" And now all of a sudden, it looks more like a state tournament in December with Heston and Hayes and Silver Lake and all these great teams in it. So it'll be a real challenge, and that'll be good. So our pre-Christmas schedule or Christmas before Christmas schedule and the games before then, we're going to find out what we're made of here really quick.
How much fun is that topside tournament and just kind of the pride of, kind of putting that together and in the number of years that it's been existing? So how much fun is that topside tournament?
Well, what's really unique and great about it is we have a community group that puts it on. Like the school, Goodland High School, doesn't even really sponsor it. My AD's on it, of course, and we facilitated the principal and we sit on the committee too. But we just have such a great group of community members that run that thing for 30, whatever the year it is that's going now. And they put it together. They know what they're doing. I think we put a top-notch tournament together. Playing in the Max Joe's Fieldhouse is great. So it's always exciting.
You mentioned adding a few extra games so that another tournament. Like, were you kind of a big fan of being able to add extra games to that schedule besides that that 20-game schedule?
I was indifferent on it, to be honest with you. And some of that comes, like when it first came out, I'm like, okay, well, where are we supposed to go out here? I mean, I think some of that oversight or forethought should have been put into it a little bit. Like, who are we going to go play? And how much more increased travel time do we have doing it? Like, we
Sure.
already go 3 hours for league contests. We're different than Wichita or the Kansas City area where they're 3 games, they're just jumping across town or wherever they got to go to. We already play our league twice, and who else out here? There's not a lot of 3A, 4A teams out here, and we're not going to dip down and play 1A, 2A schedule. And so, there's that part of it. Now, it ended up being pretty good because I mentioned this Rock Creek tournament's going to be really good for us. It has travel time involved, but our 2 tournaments during the year, we host one and Colby hosts one. So our girls never really get this tournament feel before we get potentially the state tournament. So it's nice to be able to take the team out from a chemistry point and spend a couple of days together at a real tournament like that. So we're excited about it. That'll be really challenging for us this year. But as far as adding 3 more games, I don't really feel like we were beating the drum for that, I guess I should
Sure.
say. It's
Yeah.
fine. If that's what they want to do, great. But certainly like how we did it, now I'm worried about, man, when do we get for us fundamentals taught? I'm looking at our preseason. Like we're going to play our topside tournament Thursday, Friday, Saturday, come back, have a Monday practice, play Scott City on a Tuesday, practice Wednesday, go to another 3-day tournament. And it's just that, early in the season, I think you're playing and you're analyzing film and you're working on things. And so that part of it kind of goes away, but also we're playing more games. So it's a wash for me.
For you, I mean, you look at that Christmas split of the season and everybody deals with it, but like, how do you kind of approach that? You mentioned that mad rush, a little bit different this year with that extra tournament, but how do you kind of approach that early part of the year and then you get into the meats and potatoes, come January?
Well, I'll tell you, I think we're pretty vanilla always before Christmas, to be honest with you. We don't run a lot of specials necessarily anyway, but um, we just really work on our core, whatever our foundational core is year to year. Most of our stuff's stays intact. I adjust what we do a little bit based on personnel, but we're just trying to lay our foundational things, what we believe in, what are we really proud of, what do we put our name to a little bit. That's what we're focused on at the beginning of the year as we get after Christmas. Really, we stay in that area all the way up to the Colby tournament, Orange and Black tournament, third week of January. We're pretty much in that mode. Then when we come out of that, we're trying to fine tune things more. We're more worried about, not worried about, but we're analyzing the other team a lot more at that point and making adjustments according to what they do. We're really focused on what we do and not worried about the other team so much in this early part of the season as well.
Coach, for you now going into your 8th season as head coach at Goodland, I know like rebuilding that program. Can you remember what it was like, that first day as far as taking over the coaching duties there at Goodland for the girls team?
I do. Some of my former players that I stay in touch with like to remind me of, like, why aren't you doing this drill? Or, Coach, you made us do insanity. And I had all the, and I always tell them, well, I had to build a culture of hard work and expectations that time. Now I always commend them because of what you've done. Our girls now know what expectations and culture and hard work and everything look like. So I don't have to do those things that we once did. But yeah, we've come a long ways on that. And that's why I'm so proud of some of the girls in the early years. It took a group of girls. I always say it took a group of girls that wanted hard work, and honestly, a group of parents that were okay with pushing their girls. And I commend them for that, because without that, we wouldn't have done the things we did. Because not everybody wants to do that anymore. It doesn't feel like sometimes, and so for them to kind of be okay with that, and maybe we lost some girls along the way as a result of that, but that core group of girls said, we're tired of losing, we're tired of this, we want something better. They knew that there was a price to pay for that, and so they were the builders, and they laid that foundation for our program, and I'm proud of them for that.
Well, what's the insanity drill? Can you explain that one for us?
Actually, it's not a drill. It's
okay.
Back 8 years ago, the insanity workout, that used to be our morning deal. Shanti, a video where you're don't even have basketballs, you're just working. We did that, just some running and some other things in the morning. We never even picked up a basketball in our 2-a-day workouts that first week in the morning, just to kind of say we're here to going to work hard, and again to develop that culture a little bit. So that's what it was. Yeah.
All right, so some of the players have fond memories, huh?
Or they don't have fond
Or
memories.
they don't have fond. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
either or,
huh? Or they like to give Coach a hard time about it. So they like to remind me. I have a certain player too that like to remind me that we came back and had a 2-whistle practice after we had won by 15 at a league opponent the next day. But I wasn't proud of our effort. I wasn't proud of a lot of things that happened during that game. And there was like, we won, and yet we're back running, that type of thing. But those were foundational things that we had to lay forth. So
well, I was always told by coaches, like, after you win, that's the time to like really drill them on something, because like, after you lose, sometimes they're emotional and whatnot, but like after a win, it's a lot easier to like, play, the bad coach, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I think you just win or lose. I think it's focusing on how you played and are the girls meeting some of those foundational expectations. If we're not going to play hard, for the girls especially, if we're not going to get along and love each other and support each other, whether we win or lose, it doesn't really matter. Like, we have certain standards that we're going to have. We're going to play with energy. We're going to work hard. We're going to support each other. And if you don't do those things, then there's consequences for that. So I think that's where we are at, some of that.
I want to name some of your stops here, and you can include any that if I leave anything out, but your stops at Santa Fe Trail, Wichita County, you kind of made that switch over to the administrative side with, with Holcomb and now at Goodland. Like, for you, like, did you always know that you wanted to coach? And then at what point do you realize, okay, I want to try more of the administrative side?
Wow, that's a good question. Yes, I always, from the time I was probably a sophomore, junior in high school, kind of knew that I wanted to be a teacher and a coach. And obviously the reasons for that is because I had some pretty incredible coaches and teachers in my life. who made that possible. So I think I knew too early that I wanted to be, and I was good at math, so I became a high school math teacher. So I was going to be a high school math teacher and boys basketball coach. That's what I was going to do. And so I had the fortunate opportunity to work with my former coach, Brian Luther, out of high school at Santa Fe Trail. Great coach, a great mentor of mine, both from a professional and personal side. But and we had some great teams at Santa Fe Trail. Had some really great kids. And so I had a great run there for 3 years working on his staff and as assistant coach. We had a 26-0 4A state championship team. The year before that, I think we came close and kind of got over a hump, but a really good 3-year run there with some great athletes. And so, and I was young and dumb and enough to think I knew it all. And so I came back to my hometown to be a head boys basketball coach, and we weren't very good. And I thought I knew all the answers, and because of that, and we weren't very good, but it was really fun to work with a great group of kids there, similar to being not very good, and kind of working with a group of kids that wanted to do something different. And we got to the state tournament in that last year. And then the year after that, I became athletic director, and I was working on my admin degree, and then decided to give it up. I really didn't think, I always worked on my admin. I didn't think I wanted to be a principal. That wasn't part of the goal when you're 30. I took classes and just working on my master's degree was part of that. I had a young family, and then working on that, I decided, well, maybe I should give that a shot. And I interviewed for the Holcomb principal job and got it, and loved it. I loved being a high school principal. And then that took me on a different career path to being the chief executive officer, financial officer of an organization called Southwest Plains Regional Service Center. Loved those 4 years doing professional development and everything across the state. Found myself in here at Goodland 15 years ago and was just the superintendent of schools. And obviously, I thought my coaching days were done, but we ran into some trouble here trying to be able to find coaches, and I had some kids playing and had worked with them on MAYB tournaments and other things through their elementary, junior high years. So obviously, they knew I was coaching and active in that realm. And my AD approached me one year about, can you help us out? And I said I would. And 8 years later, I'm still doing it. So kind of an odd journey I had from that's all I wanted to do. And then I stepped away from it. And now I'm kind of in this joint role. And really, I look at it different. I did a presentation, what the 50-year-old would tell the 25-year-old when it comes to coaching here a couple of years ago, because I think that's important. I look at things a whole lot different now than I did relationship wise, and what the big picture is as far as this coaching thing is, than chasing state championships and other things like I was trying to do early. So
last one for you, Coach. I mean, I always ask, like players and even coaches, like what it feels like to win a state championship. But for you and able to win those state titles back in 2022 and 23, what was it like bringing it back to the community? Because I feel like, in all towns across the state, and especially, some of the medium or smaller size, like it just has a huge impact for the community as well, that sense of pride. Like, what was it like being able to bring back a couple state titles?
it's interesting you say that, because that's what we preached so much in those years, playing for Goodland. To be honest with you, I kind of feel like our high school and our spirit and everything was a little bit broken then. Like we needed something to cheer for. We needed something to demonstrate when you work hard and have high expectations, you can achieve. And so our community wrapped their arms around that team. I tell you, and continue to do that. They just loved watching them play. When we played Phillipsburg in that sub-state championship that year before, and the crowd there and the excitement of it and what happened when we won that against a really good team, Taryn Side scared the crap out of me.
She does a lot of people.
Right. She's a great player. But we were able to win that and get there. And yeah, what it does for a community, rural Western Kansas, probably other schools too, but that's what makes this level really exciting. 3A level. I'm sure other levels feel the same way, but you play for your community, you play for the Goodland on the chest, and when you do that, some great things can happen.
Hey, Coach, appreciate the insights, and best of luck this year.
Thank you. We got a good team this year. We're going to see what we can get accomplished this year.
We'll be excited to follow. That's Bill Biermann, the head coach of the Goodland girls basketball team, joining us here on our Quality Time interview.